let's do this. If a homeowner was sitting here considering this now, based on your experience of building with other builders and things like that, what we do has its own set of hurdles, obstacles, challenges by comparison to a lot of things. Because I mean, we sometimes have to go to war even at the municipality level,
right,
just to get clearance, to get the permits established, because there's so many people in the industry that have done subpar work or, did something to where the county's a little bit hesitant, and they want to really review, deep dive on what we're submitting.
right.
But, when we come in and we do that, like if a homeowner was watching this right now and they had an opportunity to not talk to the owner of the company or talk to someone in sales, but to talk to someone who manages the jobs, what would you tell them to prepare them for the experience of building with Barndo Co?
First, I mean, the biggest thing that I see a lot of, just doing this is everybody's thinking we're going to build it in this exact amount of time. Don't set yourself up for that failure, because you're going to sit there and say, I'm homeless. And we don't want you to feel that way. So always create a buffer. I mean, never let, your emotions get so involved that I've got to be in here and you get everything lined up. Don't line anything up until you know that things are in play. If you do that, you're just hurting yourself, and it puts a lot of pressure on the builder. So, do your homework. I mean, really kind of know the aspect of the build. Ask as many questions as possible at the beginning of the build, like what are some of the hurdles that we may encounter. So if you do those, I think that it will relieve a lot of the end pressure that a lot of people find themselves at. So.
Okay. What would you say is something that you see come up over and over and over again from a client experience that maybe is just an expectation that doesn't match the experience?
The details. I mean, it's really like there's just like a lot of it's the details right now. And as far as the paperwork and everything, we're getting better and better and better. But just the not enough questions are asked on either side. The simple as like grout color. I mean, and we're like, okay, what color, and then they're like, well, that's not what I envisioned. We don't know what you envisioned unless we get it from you. Yeah. So those kind of things. So it's really the details.
Yeah. So the devil's in the details.
Right.
So. For sure. For sure. When you're building this. Well, okay. So let me ask you this. What would you say is your favorite part of your day on any given day?
Oh gosh, I mean, I love building. So I mean, not that I'm not a builder or a framer or anything, but I love the whole process. I mean, I don't really have. I mean, honestly, like y'all talked about my chart. I love looking at that and saying, okay, this is where I'm at. And then sometimes when I don't see things move, I'm like, is it doing anything? So I dive into myself on that. Like, okay, how can I push the guys to do a little better? But really, where I love communication. I love talking to like I'll reach out to the PMs just to say, hey, how are we looking? I had one, I called today and he mentioned something to me. I called up and followed up with him, and just to make sure he's doing okay. I mean, we have another one that's going through some issues as well, trying to make sure I cover him while he's out there. But just a little bit of everything, really. I mean, I love coming in and doing this. So,
well, my favorite thing is you got a nickname.
Oh, yeah.
You started here, and you are
the warden.
The warden.
Yeah.
Right?
So
you hold everybody fiercely accountable.
But you got to do it the right way. You can't
you
can't just be an ass, or I'm sorry, you can't be a butthole the entire time. So I mean, you have to build your guys. You can't just break them down. So
yeah, no. Well, you came in. I remember, we had all this stuff going, and like when we hired you, the goal was to clean it up, get it tighter, get it more dialed in, and you were like, I can deliver this. And day 2, you rolled out like this procedure of checklists and stuff. And I remember even our director of finance, he had to go in the system and do some checks or something.
Oh, yeah.
And you dropped a message in and were like, I don't see these check boxes.
Right.
He was like, he's even holding me accountable.
Oh, I told Nick. That's what I told Nick. I said, I'm going after Nate. Sorry, Nate. So,
yeah. I
mean, he's doing his part and everything, but I just need the schedule. I mean, the schedule's got to be clean.
Yeah, well,
that's where I pushed.
Well, so. It's both ways, right? So, like, as much as everyone depends on production is depending on sales and depending on finance and procurement, and all these things have to work in harmony. Right. And so, as you scale and as you grow, the tendency is that those people get further and further away, and the communication gets less and less.
Right.
And it's quite the opposite for that. It's almost like the bigger we've gotten, the better communication has gotten. And so people have like leaned in and gotten even better at scheduling and forecasting and doing all these things. And so we've seen kind of the opposite, effect, but it might have been we just started at such a bad place.
Well, I think well, the communication, I think, you tapped onto something there. The communication that we have this, Slack. I mean, our Slack, I mean, it's like, it's not just production. It's not just sales. I mean, we are so intermingled when it comes to that you don't always see that. I mean, it's usually sales or us, and yes, we're two different things, but because of the way, I mean, we all text at night. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. We're sitting there saying, just been trying to get the next day ready or just finish up the day or whatever. But the communication that we have between both parties is great.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.